Welcome to another episode of Own It Podcast. Today we are talking about a very popular topic and very close to all parents' heart. That is to buy a property near a desired primary school. We have here all parents and professional realtors, of course, people who actually successfully gotten into their desired primary school, and some of us who are going to try for the registration this year. So I think today's we'll be deep diving into a lot of details that as a parent and a property buyer that you will need to take note of. So first off, I think we will start from very basic. What are the different phases that we actually need to look at for primary school registration?
So basically there are 5 phases. Phase 1 is siblings. All right, meaning to say that let's say your current eldest son is in this primary school, that automatically the rest of your children will be admitted to that school. This is called phase 1.
Phase 1.
Phase 1. Then for phase 2A, all right, okay, that will be the alumni. Then of course, like the MOE kindergarten, which is affiliated to the primary school. And last but not least, of course, if let's say you are the staff or teacher in that school, you will be classified under 2A also.
Oh, really? Yeah. Can?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't know that?
Oh, I always thought 2A is just alumni.
Yeah. So next will be, of course, phase 2B. Okay, 2B will be affiliated. Affiliated meaning to say, like, let's say example. Do you guys do any?
I know.
What?
Because affiliation, like grassroots is affiliation, members affiliation, like the Hui Guan, the churches, all these are affiliation. So that is the one I know, 2B.
Yep. Which you are right, Ron. So basically, it's the gist of it, Yeah. So of course, the last, the next one, the 4th phase will be phase 2C. Yeah, phase 2C, of course, like simply, all the school, there will be like 40, example, they'll reserve 40 vacancy. All right, so it will be based on the priority of the distance.
What about the volunteers? That one is B.
Volunteers?
Parent volunteers.
PV. Yeah, phase 2B. Phase 2B.
2B.
Yeah, phase 2B. Yeah. Then of course, the last but not least, we seldom encounter, which is phase 2C supplementary. So meaning to say that you have encounter the first 4 phases, you don't really get a vacancy. Then you'll be the last phase of phase 2C supplement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I really never hear.
So this is when they just assign you to the...
Yeah, just assign you to randomly whichever
Probably
primary
based
school.
on nearest to your place.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Depends on whether there is
Still got
vacancies,
vacancies or not.
right?
Alright, and also that's why the distance parameter comes into the 1 kilometer distance came into part.
Okay, so I think there is a lot of misunderstanding about 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers. Is staying within 2 kilometers good enough, or must be 1 kilometer? There are different things that I hear especially when buyers they say, oh, no need, I'm alumni, I don't need to stay 1 kilometer. Oh, no need, I am a member, so I don't need to stay 1 kilometer. So what is exactly? Well, Edmund, by the way, has already successfully gotten their children into desired primary school. So I think he's very experienced, as well as Paul. So 3 of us here, we are learning a lot.
Trying our luck.
We are learning a lot from these 2 experienced parents. Yeah, so I think the audience can also learn a bit. I think this is one of the things that I hear a lot on the market, where people are saying that we are telling them that this is within 1 kilometer. They say, no need, I am alumni. Yeah, so what is the implication of being in not within 1 kilometers, not within 2 kilometers, or so on and so forth?
Okay, very simple. We think of this situation whereby, example, this phase 2B, right, is oversubscribed. All right, that means there are like 10 vacancy example. It's like then the subscription, the applicants is 20.
Okay.
So it's 10 more oversubscribed. So that's where the 1 kilometer distance plays a part. You'll be given priority, of course, to citizen. Then with 1 kilometer, then followed by PR, blah blah blah.
So PR 1 kilometer also no chance. Is that what we are talking about?
No, lower chance.
Lower chance.
So you mean the 20 applicants will ballot for the 10 slots, correct?
Yep.
And then the 10 that doesn't get the slot will go to phase 2.
Yeah, phase whatever.
The other phase.
Phase 2C. Phase 2C. Yeah.
I think what you mean is the 20 applicants must be within the 1 kilometer to ballot, right? If not, if there's some 1 kilometer, some 1 to 2, some over to the 1 kilometer guys go in first. And then after that, if there's any more, then the rest will ballot.
Correct. In short, okay, as long as you hold the key in a way that 1 kilometer within the school.
So you'll be
Yeah.
the priority.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
1
In the
kilometer
phase.
still plays a very huge
Yes,
part.
yes.
That's why properties that is nearer to a desired school, 1 km, their rental and their prices will be more
Resilient.
Yeah, you say resilient. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I got something to share. That my wife is an alumni of Desire Primary School. Okay, so her classmate, right, is alumni also, but she stays 2 km. Then she didn't get into the school at the Sun. Yeah, they didn't get in.
It doesn't mean alumni you sure
Doesn't mean,
get.
yeah. Doesn't
That
mean.
means the alumni for
So
that
it
year
will be
is-
good if alumni plus 1 km.
Yep.
Cause her is within 1 to 2 km.
Okay, so for all parents who are alumni, please listen to this. Your children may not get in if you are not within 1 kilometer.
Yes.
So myth busted, because I really hear a lot of parents saying that, oh, don't worry, we are alumni. I think over the years there will also be a lot of alumni.
Yeah, getting more and more. Lah.
Yeah. So what we are saying here, I just summarize in case through the conversation it's not very clear, is if 2B there is 20 vacancies and let's say there is 30 applicants, if 20 of them are within 1 kilometers, that means all 20 slots will be filled up and the 10 left over who is also 2B, they will move on to phase 2C because all the 1 kilometer is already taken up, all the 20 slots already. Right?
Yep, in a way lah.
Okay, then we move on to 2C, which is eventually the same case as well. The 1 kilometer will take first, then the out of 1 kilometer will. So I think it's really important, right, to get the properties that is within 1 kilometer. Today, if you buy a property near a school, what is the kind of timeline? Buying property, we all know that there's a processing transaction time. So when is it that we need to actually take note of? Owning the property, staying inside, or that kind of things.
So good question. So basically, out in the market, of course, there are 2 types of property. One which is the resale, then the other one is new launch. Okay, let me touch upon the resale first. Then of course for resale we have the HDB, then the condo. All right. So talking about HDB, all right, very simple, which is that, of course, taking this year as an example, the registration is 2nd of July, right? Okay. So basically, the HDB buyers, they need to have the approval letter from HDB. Then for a private condo, they will need to have an exercise OTP and with the buyer's stamp duty. And very importantly, which is that they need to move in by next year, 2nd of Jan 2025.
The start of school.
Yes.
Is that the start of school?
Start of the school term. Start of the P1 school term. Yeah, because next year it will be 2nd of Jan 2025. This is about resale. Then for, of course, new launches, we are talking about the vacant possession date. Must be within the 2 years time frame from this year. Like, let's say this year you're going to register. Then the 2 years time frame must be within 31st of December 2026. So the question will be that, how am I supposed to know what's the vacant possession
Delay
date?
how?
Yeah, it's not the TOP date,
it's
right?
not
Correct, it's not TOB date. So basically, of course, you need to read your sales and purchase agreement, which I think usually buyers will not read. Then of course, it must be within these 2 years. Yeah, of course, let's say if there's any hiccups, delay, you can write into MOE, but subject to approval.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
But as long as the S&P states the date of vacant possession, That will be good enough, right?
Yes, that will be good enough.
Yeah. So usually I think what buyers can do is to check with the realtor that is actually selling them that property. So that vacant possession will already be penned into black and white, saying that this will be the date. Of course, TOP will be earlier, usually earlier than the vacant possession date. Then you can buy the property actually. Right. So that is of course buying a property, but there is two schools of thoughts at least two schools of thoughts. That is either you rent a property that is within. So for example, renting a property is still considered 1 kilometer. If you rent near 1 kilometer, it is still considered your address, right? The other school of thought will be you need to buy that property. There is definitely pros and cons, and I think we can discuss a little bit into these pros and cons about buying or renting a property for the purpose of school registration, right? Let's talk about buying since we were on the topic of buying. So what are the pros and cons that you guys think that is
I think for buying itself, more for myself just for myself.
Actually, which of us bought properties?
Me.
Buy near school?
Only.
Near school, me.
I
lah.
rented.
Me, lah. You rent.
I also rent.
Alumni.
Alumni.
You
Rent.
Alumni plus buy.
So you're-
We can sue. So I think buying itself, it's more important to me is the ownership of the property. So if I rent, I want to do any changes, I want to paint the house pink color, the owner might not allow. I may have to reinstate back when I actually return the property.
So your house is pink?
No lah. My daughter's room is pink. My daughter's room is pink.
Yours rainbow. Kueh lapis.
Yeah.
And
So overall, I think the ownership is like, the feeling of owning the home to myself instead of I'm staying in somebody's house. Like I want to hang one nail, also need to ask.
Yes.
All these things lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one I think would be if I don't buy, I would to rent, right? I might be subjected to increase in rent. Because before purchasing, right, me and my wife, we were renting for about 3 to 4 years, around that period. Every renewal, right, the landlord will wants to increase our rent. Because for us, if the increase is not that significant, we will still continue because we need to move house, very troublesome, so we don't want to keep moving and moving. So when they come back with increase of $200-300, we just have to be held hostage lah. Say, oh, okay lor, no choice lor. Then we just renew the rental lah. So that's why when we were thinking of shifting to nearer to the school, the desired school lah, we decided to purchase instead of renting. Then what makes you rent?
Actually, I wanted to buy. We were looking around to buy a place near the school, but we saw so many places and we couldn't find a desired home.
Okay.
So in the end, we decided, okay, never mind. There's no more time left. We should just rent, just to get the address
Just
first.
to get the address
and
first,
then, so after a while, we decided actually maybe renting is a good idea as well because, it gives us the flexibility to, decide whether, okay, is this place good or whether we actually like living in this area or whether, is this, is the 3-bedder big enough or a 2-bedder or 4-bedder, what's the size we need. So we decided, okay, actually maybe rental is a good idea, although we will be, facing with rental fluctuations on both ends, meaning to say that our previous home, we actually rented it out as well. And then now we have to rent this place. So when the 3-year lease is up, either way, we have to negotiate again. So a bit more troublesome, but you pay for the flexibility, I guess, and to try out a different area before you commit full term. Yeah.
But I think renting, even for renting and buying itself holds the same risk lah, like what we discussed regarding whether you will get
a
school
school or
The risk is actually the
Exactly.
same, if you ask me lah. Yeah, but I think it's still up to own preference if you want to rent or purchase a place lah. Yeah.
I'm more inclined to the renting camp lah. So like what Paul mentioned, what if you don't get in? So just now we were talking about the 2CS, right?
Yeah.
So unluckily we really get into 2CS and suddenly they shoot the child to very far away because there's no vacancy in the nearby primary school. Then the child has to wake up very early. then if I
Like
bought
the parents
the property,
also.
Parents also.
Parents also.
Confirm. Father.
so that is the thing that that really deters me, because for me renting is mobility. So I can quickly finish up that 2 years lease or so, then I get another property that is nearer to that primary school. I think to me that makes sense. But of course, what you have put up also makes sense. So like what Paul says is really no right or wrong, but really what we focus on. To me, that fluctuation of rent is basically inflation. No? I rather keep that flexibility. After getting, of course, we can decide to buy, and then what Cheryl brought up about knowing how big a house you need. I think that is also very real, because that wasn't something that I considered before, but I think that is something very real that, you know, now my kids are like running wild, maybe I need even bigger space. That is something that I really experience as a parent now. But ownership of properties, what else make you buy?
What else make me buy?
Yeah, what else make you buy that property? I mean,
Staying invested, I think more important.
stay invested.
Stay invested, yes.
But you need to invest. You need to stay invested in that particular property, man. Because I'm also staying invested. I'm renting, but I'm also staying invested. I mean, she's also staying invested. So the thing is,
I think because me and my wife, we went through the renting stages before. So end of the day, I think happy wife, happy life. Yeah, she wants a permanent home.
oh, this is why, this is why. Whenever I cannot answer, I push to the wife.
Yeah, so we still decide to buy is because first thing we want to stay invested. Secondly, also because calculating the finance part, right? We can utilize the CPF to pay for our mortgages, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense personally for my family. It might
Because
differ.
your wife
She
is,
works lah. She has a normal job lah. So end of the day, her CPF can be utilized to pay for the mortgages lor. Yeah. So this is one of the main reason we purchase also lah.
Because rental, you need to pay cash, right?
Correct.
Then there's one thing I think we need to tell the audience as well, which is the 30 month. Regardless of rent or buy, we need to stay at the you need to stay at that place, the property for 30 months.
30 months. Yeah.
Starting from
Two scenario. Starting from okay, so the 30 months example. Let's say of course today you have a registered home address. You already have it. That means you are already staying in the property. Then of course the 30 months the period starts from the registration, which is
July.
2nd of July.
Yeah.
First scenario. Second scenario, which that you are in the midst of buying right? So the 30 months start from the date that you need to move in, which is by next year, 2nd of Jan. Yeah. So there's a difference. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
So I got one question. So let's say I stay at property A.
Property A.
Okay, example, it's still within 1 km, but it's not walkable distance to the school. So when I got into the school, right, can I move to property B, which is also within 1 km?
As long as
As long as within 1 km is fine. It doesn't have to be the same
1 kilometer,
premises, right?
Because some of the properties, example, is even though it's 1 kilometer, in between there's a flyover expressway. Then what you're trying to say is like this, right? Yeah. Because you are staying in the west, Yeah. So yeah, I mean to answer your question, you're right. As long as within the 1 kilometer distance,
You can move anywhere
within the 1
kilometer.
km.
Yeah, 1 km.
Within that 30 months.
Within that 30 months
of stay.
Another question regarding the 30 months, right? So other than the two scenarios, there a third scenario where the vacant possession is 2026 December. Do you have to do 30 months from December 2026 for
the
new
new
launch?
launch.
For new launch.
For new launch, wow, this one, good question.
check with MOE.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry.
But honestly, the reason why we also do this podcast is also because personally, I also went on MOE website, and honestly, the information is not exactly crystal clear. So we have a lot to share based on experience, based on what we read, and I think if you are buying a new launch to stay, chances are you will stay more than 30 months. Chances are 2.5 years, So that part.
But I think logically, the rules should be still the same 30 months. You should stay in the property
To
for
be
30
fair
months.
lah.
To be fair.
Might be. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is the rule that changed during 2022. The
Oh, the
distance.
distance,
the distance
to the
thing,
right?
gate or something.
Some of the condo got some changes lah. There was this client that I'm serving, looking at Bukit Timah, that area, Totak side, Verdale. That project itself originally was not 1 km to
During
Pei Hwa.
launch, right?
During launch. Yeah. And then now currently because of that distance change, 3 of the blocks out of 7 is 1 km to Pei Hwa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some projects like that. So again, refer to MOE website because they have this link to check the distance. If not, you can use one map.
One map.
No map. School career, the school career.
All right, so going back to the topic of buying and renting, I think just now we actually shared a lot of reasons why we rent or why we buy. You know, essentially it's all the good things. But as an owner today, Lucas, if you look back, what is the not so good things, about owning the property that early?
Not so good. Let's say if I really don't get into the school, right, my daughter had to wake up earlier, take the school bus, or I have to send her to school.
Like what
So
we
the
just
traveling
now
distance,
saying.
the traveling distance will be longer. We need to travel longer. Then she has to wake up earlier for school bus lah. Second thing I think would be, let's say I don't get into the school, I'm sure I'm actually admitted into another school. Then we want to move nearer, we have to sell the house mah. So it might not be a good time to exit. Because for myself, right, I'm still under my SSD. So it's not the period for me to sell at this moment. It's kind of stuck. This is the two things I think if for the cons of purchasing a property first.
We'll
Yeah.
pray hard that you.
So pray hard for me. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody.
But okay, so for Cheryl who is renting, all right. So what are the things that you actually see or foresee challenges that you may face as someone who rent for school?
So like I mentioned earlier, now I'm currently faced with 2 rental fluctuations, mainly for my previous home, which I'm renting out, and for the current home that I'm staying, which I'm renting. So like I said, after 3 years, when the both leases are up, I have to negotiate both ways again and, pray and hope that, we get either a good renewal and, our landlord is nice to us, and also at the same time, whether or not my previous home
The tenants,
tenant is going to renew, right? Because if they don't, then I have to start the search again,
Yeah.
and there might be downtime again. So actually, previously when we were marketing our unit, it actually took us quite a bit of time to get a perfect tenant for us, because after all, it's still our home for 10 years. So we wanted to find an ideal tenant. So when we actually shifted out to the new place, my place was empty for a while, and we had to pay the mortgage for the previous place, and we had to
Plus
pay
the rent
rent for the new place. So it was quite stressful for a couple of months. And as the registration date, the P1 registration date was coming closer and closer, we still hadn't gotten a tenant. We actually oh no, what are you going to do? But thank God we actually found a very, very good tenant for our place lah. So hopefully, when 3 years later everything works out smoothly, but that's actually a risk. So that's one of the main con, I would say, for renting a school near the school.
Near school.
A home near a school, yeah.
So I guess there's no perfect answer, and basically everyone will make decisions on a set of priorities for their families. And I think for me, renting near a school let me decide where do I stay invested. Of course, buying will be staying invested in where you bought. But like we said, right here we have people who rent, people who buy, and there's really no wrong answers. If you feel that buying a property can last you up to the day that you need to, definitely go ahead and buy the property, because staying invested early is one of the most important things that we feel that for all of us here is very important, right? If you are not sure of all the options that you have, of course, you can reach out to any one of us. You can reach us at www.ownitrealestate.sg, or all of our services are listed there, and you can also have a good read up on each and every one of us. There's a short intro of every one of us and get to know us better. And I'm sure one of us will be able to help you to make that decisions and also highlight the other points that you haven't thought of yet. So with that, that's a wrap, and we hope your P1 registration is successful. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.